Okay, welcome to one of the most interesting topics we have in Israel, and those are the different people that live here, the minorities of Israel. Today I'm actually going to speak about one of the most important minorities, one of the most interesting minorities that is not just a minority, it's also a religion. And today we're going to talk about the Druze religion, the Druze minority in Israel, and we'll understand what's special about them. We'll talk about where they live in the Holy Land, why they live in this area. We'll understand a little bit the history of this religion and how it's developed, where other places in the world Druze people living, what kind of conflicts they have with the modern life, and what does it mean to be a Druze person in Israel. How is the life of a Druze person in Israel, the modern state, today? Ready? Let's start. The Druze people in Israel are about 150,000. Where Druze people are living? Druze people are living in Syria, that's the biggest community. Today about 600,000 Druze people living in Syria. The second biggest community is in Lebanon, and the third is in Israel. The second in Lebanon is about 300,000, 280,000, and Israel have about 150,000 Druze people. Druze people that living in Israel in three main areas. Number one is Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is the highest mountain near the Mediterranean, and it's the southern place in the world where Druze people are living. So the second area where Druze people living in Israel is the high mountains of the Galilee. The high mountains of the Galilee, there are two famous villages. One of them is Peki'in, and of course Beit Jan, the village that every year have snow, and it's one of the highest villages in the Galilee, and was one of the highest villages in Israel until 1967, the Six-Day War, when Mount Hermon and the Golan Heights joined Israel. The third place is exactly the Golan Heights. And I mentioned the Six-Day War. The Golan Heights Druze are a little bit different from the rest of the Druze that live in Israel. And we'll try to understand soon what is the story of the Golan Heights. It is a very interesting story. But the Druze on the Golan Heights living in four villages in the northern part underneath the highest mountain in Israel, Mount Hermon. And the highest village in Israel, or the highest place where people live in Israel, is actually a Druze village called Majd el-Shams. Everybody in Israel that go to do ski or try to go to do ski, because Israelis are not really good at ski because of the warm weather, they will pass through Majd el-Shams. In order to summarize it, I will use the flag as an example. The Druze flag that have 5 colors: green, white, blue, yellow, and orange. The Druze flag is not a national flag like we know. We all know flags: the United States, France, Israel, Syria, United Emirates, Thailand, New Zealand, Australia. For us, is a symbol of nationality. In the Druze tradition, the flag is a religious flag. It's have different interpretation to the different colors, and it's all basically symbolizing the 5 pillars of the Druze tradition and the Druze belief and religion. And we're starting with the green that's symbolizing everything in life, the plantations that give us oxygen and food, but also will be the center, usually will be the triangle of the Druze flag. It's also the symbol of the Islam, the symbol of Elijah. It's also many, many symbols that connected to the base and the foundation of life. The white color symbolizing purity, purity of the soul, purity of the thought, purity of the mind. The blue color symbolizing water, another symbol of life. Another, the sky and the water are what bringing life together. The yellow symbolizing the flowers and the beauty in the world that are coming together. The orange symbolizing the sun, and the combination of all of it is all about balance. When all of the elements are balanced together, we can live in peace with ourselves and with our surroundings.